right, welcome to another episode of Media Review, or as I am going to be calling it, I believe from now on, What's in Your Watch List? I think that's the name we're going to officially go with on this one. So welcome to What's in Your Watch List. Today we're going over She-Hulk. I am your host, Just Jen. No, I am your host, Demon Phil. And we're going to be talking about this episode, episode 6, the Just Jen episode today. Now, I've said this on every other episode. I'm going to do the same thing on this one. There are spoilers in this one aplenty. I will spoil this thing all over the place. So keep that in mind. We'll be going over that just in a moment to make sure that you're aware of what's going on with that. The other thing is, everyone has their opinion. I have no problem with that. I have my own opinion as well. But no trolling will be allowed on anything with this. So if I see any comments later on in post views that is geared towards creating drama or trolling, I'm not having it. If you want a discussion, that's fine. We could definitely do that. So, again, we're going to have some fun with this, go over the review on this before we get started. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. You have been warned. All right, so we're talking about She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, episode 6, the Just Jen episode. This thing, just whenever you think that she can't just be a fun character and keep getting into trouble different ways, there's always something else. In this particular one, she's invited to a wedding, and she shows up as She-Hulk. The bride-to-be gets very upset that the focus is shifted to her and not to the bride-to-be. It's very Bridezilla girl that's there, we'll put it that way. So she asked her to go ahead and unhulk, whatever you call it, hulk down, whatever the term's going to be for that. So she becomes Jen, and it's hilarious because she's wearing the dress that She-Hulk was wearing to the thing, and it's a huge dress on her, which makes her look very minuscule. Things just get progressively worse as there is another guest that's on the list, which is Titania. And if you remember from previous episode, she swore revenge for She-Hulk keeping her name. Still find that odd to actually say out loud, but legal systems being what they are. So she swore revenge, and she played the revenge card by showing up to this wedding and was planning on making it a living nightmare for Jen at some point. At least that's what was in Jen's mind. Actually, the living nightmare was more of the Bridezilla and the way that she was being treated at this wedding. So as she is in human form, she can drink, and she does feel it. Whenever she is in Hulk form, remember, very high metabolism, doesn't get drunk. Well, she was drinking like she was in Hulk form, but in human form, and she got drunk. So we had Just Drunk Jen. That should have been the name, the official name of Just Drunk Jen. But she was in there. Titania picked a fight. We thought we were going to end up ruining the wedding with this, and then here comes the Bridezilla out there thinking that it's just going to be terrible on this end. And the Bridezilla is drunk off her derriere as well. And it just kind of goes from there. So, on the side note of what was happening while Just Jen was doing her thing, at the law firm, we get a case over there with the Immortal Man, I believe this is his official name, the Immortal Man, couldn't die. The problem is, and this is the funny part, and it is funny whenever you think about it, wrong, but funny, he married several women over long periods of time, had a few kids, that kind of thing, and then he would die, and they'd be okay with that, whatever. Well, they ended up seeing a social media post that showed him dying and then coming back to life right afterwards, and every one of them wanted retribution for this. As you can only imagine, it just gets out of hand from there to the point where he ends up making retribution up to and including monies and a sincere apology with 20 seconds of meaningful eye contact. Yes, that's right. you don't have that in there, then there's no reason to go ahead and apologize if you don't have that included in. Great episode, a lot of fun. Again, my only downside to this entire episode this week as well as last week, no end credit scene. The last one we saw was her twerking, and I'm pretty sure that there were so many Karens out there that were, oh my god, it's the worst thing ever. And so therefore we're not getting any more end credit scenes. That blows. So if y'all could just dial it down just a little bit so the rest of us could have a little bit of fun, it would be great. Just putting that out there. So that being said, She-Hulk is continuing forward. I believe there are 2 more episodes to go ahead and finish out this one. No word on a second season as of yet. I'm certainly hoping that's going to change because having a lighthearted show is great to have. It doesn't always have to be a hero show and be a hero in it. There are all kinds of examples and descriptions of being a hero. One thing is, she never asked for this. She never wanted it. She's not even sure if she still does. Keep those things in mind while you watch this. Maybe it'll change your perspective on what you're seeing. Other than that, it's lighthearted, it's funny, and it's true to the comics in most aspects that are on there. So, and still no scene with Daredevil. They are stretching that out to the end. I can already see that happening. That'll be the last episode, and they'll throw Daredevil out there. But looking forward to it, having a blast. Hope y'all are too. Go ahead and keep in mind, we've got this going weekly. We will be dropping these up there. They do have spoilers, as I get the spoiler alerts at the very beginning. Please, please, please like, subscribe, and share. It means more to me than you think you know. It's not something that I'll retire from just because I'm getting subscribers and all that. It's so that you can go ahead and stay on top of what's going on out there. You may not always agree with what I have to say about something. I have no problem with that. But maybe I might find some things that you didn't know about just yet that you're like, oh, let me go see someone else's review and someone else's perspective on things and see what happens. Just throwing that out there. So until next time, you already know what's in your watch list.